And thank you to all of you for joining us at the Coin Street Neighbourhood Centre. And you may have seen downstairs, there's a nursery. I've been down there with the young children this morning, seeing them and the staff, and seeing how the staff guide them from, in this nursery, 9 months to 4 years. And it is a real reminder that learning begins at such an early age, and what a difference it makes. And that giving our children the best start in life, unlocking their full potential, is so important to our country's future. And that is the purpose of this government in a nutshell. Now, I said it at Labour Party conference. We have a plan for a Britain that is built for all. And we're going to unlock the potential of every single person and community in this country. Because whether it's our public services that don't work, the cost of living crisis holding it back, or whole regions of our country ignored.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to defend the budget delivered by my right honourable friend the Chancellor last Wednesday, and I defend it without apology, without hesitation, and without a shred of regret, because it is the only honest budget this country could have had after the mess we inherited. Let us speak plainly. We took office 5 months ago to find a £22 billion black hole in the public finances, not a rounding error, not a forecasting disagreement, a £22 billion hole confirmed by the Office for Budget Responsibility, caused by commitments the previous government made but never had any intention of paying for. Unfunded tax cuts promised in a leadership contest, fantasy spending pledges scribbled on the back of an envelope, a £45 billion gamble that crashed the markets, forced the Bank of England to intervene, and pushed mortgage rates through the roof for millions of families. That is what they left us. That is what we had to fix. We could have done what they did for 14 years. Pretend the money was there, borrow more, hope for the best, and leave the bill for someone else. That is the Tory way. We rejected it. We chose truth over illusion, responsibility over recklessness, repair over ruin. Yes, we have raised employer national insurance contributions. I will not stand here and insult the House by pretending that is not a tax on jobs. It is. It is a difficult decision, one none of us relished. But the alternative was worse. Savage cuts to the NHS, to schools, to policing, to defense, to the services people rely on every single day of their lives. Or we could have borrowed tens of billions more at a time when the bond markets still remember the nameless trusts. We protected employees' national insurance. We protected the state pension triple lock. We protected working people. And we asked those businesses that can best afford it to pay a little more while we put the public finances back on a stable footing. I hear the synthetic outrage from the benches opposite about small businesses. The same people who froze tax thresholds for years, trapping millions in higher tax bands. The same people who brought in loan charge legislation that drove people to despair. The same people who raised corporation tax to 25% and then spent years pretending they were the party of enterprise. Spare me the lectures. And to farmers, let me speak directly. I have read your letters. I have watched the protests. I have listened. The changes to inheritance tax on agricultural land were never designed to force family farms to be sold to pay the taxman. That is why the threshold is £1 million, why married couples and civil partners can pass on £2 million combined, why the overwhelming majority of family farms will pay nothing or next to nothing. But I also know that trust has been strained. That is why the Chancellor is meeting the NFU again this afternoon, why we are looking urgently at transitional measures, at payment deferrals, at every practical step we can take to ease genuine hardship. This government is not dogmatic. We listen. We act. This budget raises £40 billion, the largest fiscal consolidation since 2010, but unlike George Osborne's austerity, every penny is going into rebuilding Britain. 40,000 extra NHS appointments every single week, crumbling schools finally repaired, 13,000 more police and community support officers on our streets, breakfast clubs in every primary school, so no child starts the day hungry. That is not austerity. That is investment. That is the change people voted for. The OBR has revised growth down next year. That is not because of this budget. It is because the world has changed. Energy prices spiking again after the latest Middle East escalation, the threat of American tariffs under a new administration, the Eurozone teetering on the edge of recession. To suggest that 5 months of a Labour government has suddenly reversed global economic gravity is the same fantasy economics that brought us here in the first place. I promised the British people I would never gamble with their money again. I promised stability after chaos. This budget delivers exactly that. And let me say this to my right honourable friend the Chancellor of the Exchequer, sitting behind me today after the most brutal week any modern Chancellor has endured. She has taken decisions that would have broken lesser politicians. She has done so with steel, with clarity, and with an absolute determination to put this country first. The whispering campaigns, the anonymous briefings, the leadership plots dressed up as concern, they are the death rattle of a party that still hasn't learned its lesson. She has my complete confidence. She has the confidence of this government. And in time she will have the confidence of a country when the results come through. Shorter waiting lists, safer streets, stronger schools. This is not the budget any of us dreamed of delivering. But it is the budget Britain needed. A budget that looks reality in the eye and refuses to blink. A budget that begins the long, hard work of national renewal. The British people did not vote for more chaos. They voted for change. And change starts with telling the truth, however uncomfortable that truth may be. I commend this statement to the House.